Mama taught me how to say no years ago. I'll never forget it. When I was a girl, Mama looked at me and she said, "No means no. Say it and move on." My grandmother, Lamb, also was a driving force behind my ability to say the words N-O. No. When you say no, Kiwi is what she called me, mean it. Say no and mean it. So thankful. Hi, I'm Katie Gates, and welcome to The Whole Agenda. Today, I want to speak to you about the power of no, the power of N-O. You won't believe how many people have a hard time saying no, even if it puts their very lives in jeopardy. A lot of people have a hard time saying no. And to those of us that can say it, we often ask, well, why? It's just a two-letter word, N-O. Oftentimes we'll spell it out, N-O, but we don't really understand the power of not being able to say no. Because see, there's power in saying no, and there's power in not being able to say no. And those people who can't say no by any means are crippling themselves. They feel crippled on the inside. A lot of them feel powerless. They feel taken advantage of after they put themselves in a situation because they can't say no. A lot of people are killing themselves on the job because they've worked double shifts or they worked a long day and their superior comes to them or their boss comes to them. Hey, can you work such and such? So and so didn't show up. Are you able to do it? And although they are dead tired in their body and in their minds because of their fear of saying no, because that's what it boils down to. It's the fear of, or what if this happens if I say no? Their fear of saying no causes them to say yes when they really meant no. And so there's a lot of power behind the inability to say no. Not only does it stress you out and cause more harm to your body when it comes mentally, physically, and emotionally, it really puts you in a position to question who you really are. It wreaks havoc on your self-esteem, your inner being, because of the inability to tell so-and-so or whomever no. And like I said, a person will put themselves in jeopardy because they fear the outcome or the repercussions of saying no. I've watched it with my own eyes. You know, someone calls someone on the phone and they're on the other end trying to think of a lie, or they want someone else to lie for them. And they don't understand that they're damaging not just themselves, but every other relationship that they are connected to. Because most often when you're connected with someone and their inability to say no jeopardizes the connection, the relationship, the friendship, the marriage, because we can't say no. There is true power in saying no, and there are ways to say it other than N-O. And I think as a people, that's what we have to learn. We have to take our power back, because the inability to say no makes you feel powerless. You feel like the person that you can't say no to holds the power over you. If I could only just use my mouth and say no, why can't I say no? What is wrong with me? It's just a two-letter word. How is it caging me and holding me captive? How is it binding me and keeping me shackled, making me do these things that I really don't want to do? How is a two-letter word my master, and how have I become its slave? Because I can't say the word no. Because in essence, that's what happens. Because your mind is telling you you cannot say no. You become the slave of the word no itself. Or you become a slave of the word yes when you really meant no. So it goes both ways. People that can't say no oftentimes is a yes person or a yes man or a yes woman. And people that always says no, they have to be careful as well, because sometimes they can miss out on the yes that they should have said. So it goes both ways. We can become slaves on both sides. So we really, really, really have to check that, especially those of us that love the word no. I'm one of those people. My girls have often said, I don't hear them say it as much anymore, which is a great thing. When they were younger, they would say, Mommy, you always say no, or we know that you're going to say no, so we'll go to Daddy. But they didn't understand that my no was for their protection. That's why we have to learn as a people to be able to say no, because it often protects us from consequences, detrimental consequences down the road. So there's power in no. Like I said, my mother, bless her soul, God rest her soul, taught me no at a very young age. She was a very stern woman, very strong, powerful woman. Although most people looked at her and didn't think she accomplished much. But I looked at my mother and I swear I saw Superwoman or Wonder Woman. I'm going to talk more about that in my upcoming newsletter. But this lady had to have been Superwoman to me, So she taught me that being able to say no was a part of your superpower, because you belong to you. Your choice belongs to you. It's your choice. So just like we have a choice to get up and go to work in the morning, or I had a choice to get on here and create this video for you all and myself, I have a choice to say no, and I have a choice to say yes. But when we allow someone to snatch that choice from us, we have now enslaved ourselves to the inability to say no. We become slaves in a sense. We do things we don't want to do. We put ourselves in situations because we want to make other people happy, because that's what it boils down to. People who cannot say no are often people with a need to please. And when we have that need to please, we are missing something within ourselves, whether it be from childhood, teenage years, adulthood even. When we have to work really hard to please others, or we care what others think about us, or we care about what they're going to say if we tell them no, we're missing something up here, spiritually, mentally. We're missing something that requires us to look within ourselves. I often say the mirror. I think I have another post somewhere about that, about mirror work. You have to, because we at some point we're going to have to do it. I've done it and I'm still doing it. We have to get in the mirror and say, what's going on within me that I'm projecting my insecurities outward? So my inward insecurities are projecting themselves outward when I can't come to myself and say no. I can't come to say no to other people. So there's something missing. There's something that needs to be brought to our attention within us, and it needs to be repaired. That's just like people with deep insecurities, when they project their insecurities on others via gossip or, doing all of that foolish, kindergarten stuff. It really is their insecurities projected outward, because what's in comes out. We project how we feel about ourselves outwardly, even if we're trying to cover it up. People who are very intuitive, as I say, or people who can see through the facade can see it. So we really have to begin working on ourselves when we find ourselves not being able to say no, because not being able to say no is going to be your hindrance for life. So we have to start practicing ways of saying no. And one of those ways that we can start practicing is looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, no, I'm not going to do this, or no, I can't do this today. Or we can start by writing it down. I am an avid lover of writing. I have so many journals, too many. It's shameful. But we can write ways to say no. We don't have to flat out say no. We can say, unfortunately, at this time, I can't do that. There are so many ways to say no, and I'm going to post some of them in the description section and hopefully probably on my blog as well. If you have not looked at my blog, go to katiegates.com. And I think I'm going to post the power of no in writing and post other ways that we can say no instead of just saying no or no. We can get creative with that thing. And then it takes the pressure off of your inability to say no, and it helps strengthen you in the long run. So when we find other ways to say no, the weakness that we once had, now it's we're becoming stronger. The weakness is now becoming our strength because we found another way to say no without feeling guilty or consumed with fear, because that's what happens. For those of us that cannot say no, we become consumed with fear and guilt. And so we have to find other ways. If you can't say no, find other ways to say no. There's numerous ways to help. I'm going to post some of those in the description box to help you. So I'm very thankful for my mother. I'm thankful for my grandmother, Lamb, two extremely powerful women who I don't think was that way at first due to the stories that they shared with me, the personal stories. Over time, they became stronger because they knew that they had to. In order to survive, they had to become stronger women. In order to pass along their strength or to pass their strength down, they had to become stronger women. And I'm so thankful to have been a part of that strength, because I can truly tell you I have no problem with saying no. If it is not at the right time for me, if it's not beneficial to the things that I have going on, and it's not that I'm selfish. That's something else. That's a trick of the mind. You not being able to say no to others, your mind may sometimes say, well, you're being selfish, but you're really not. You have to look at the whole entire picture. And so that's what I've learned to do. If I'm asked to do something or to write something or to be somewhere, and I know that it's going to cause havoc on me or my family, my girls, my mental, my psyche, my spiritual being, my soul, all of that, I say no. And it has nothing to do with selfishness. It has everything to do with wisdom and doing what is right for you in that moment. I promise you it's going to pay off in the end. Because oftentimes that very thing that, someone is pressuring you to do, or can you come? Can you do this? Can you speak? Can you da 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 da? Yeah. Mm-mm. Your well-being, your psyche, your health, your emotional health is way more important than pleasing someone else. Now, if you can do it by all means, oh yes, absolutely. If you know that you can't, don't put yourself in a position to cause havoc or chaos in your life, both internally and externally, because that's what happens. A whole hurricane is going on internally, and then it shows itself externally, and it's just a mess. So there's power in the word no. So please start practicing that, looking at yourself in the mirror, even and saying, no, I cannot do this today, or unfortunately, I can't do that right now. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but right now that doesn't fit into my schedule. See all of the ways we can say no without saying the words, it just removes the fear. So here's to being able to say no in the future. And I pray that this video has helped you. If you know that this video can help someone, please share it, pass it along. You wouldn't believe how many people in the US alone are unable to say no. Google it. So if you know someone that this video can help, please pass it along. Share it. Like the content. Please leave me a message. I love to read messages and I will respond. Also, like the page, follow me, hit the notification bell. I try and upload every Wednesday. Sometimes I upload before, it all depends. But there's power in no, and I want you to be a powerful being when it comes to the word no. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me here at The Whole Agenda. I am Katie Gates. Have a beautiful, beautiful, and powerful day. Bye.